Hey guys, this week in social studies we're starting something new, and it is about artists in the community. And one of the big things we're going to talk about is writers and different types of writers that help impact the community. So the writer I picked for day one is Henry David Thoreau, and I'm going to read the article that we have for day one of social studies, and that is our task for today. Okay, there's no questions that go along with it, but with the stories for the rest of the week, there will be questions that you have to answer. Okay, so follow along with me as I read. I might stop to ask you guys some questions, okay, to think about as we go. All right. Close this. Okay. Henry David Thoreau. The text and images are from America's Story from America's Library by the Great Library of Congress. Okay. So this is him. This is a picture of him. Henry David Thoreau was born July 12th, 1817. If Henry David Thoreau were alive today, you might think he was a little odd, or you might admire him. Born on July 12th, 1817, in Concord, Massachusetts, Thoreau was a philosopher, naturalist, and writer who believed in living simply. A naturalist is somebody who loves nature and studies nature. In 1845, he put that belief to the test and moved to a hut on the edge of Walden Pond near Concord. For 2 years, he lived with a minimum of possessions and limited his contact with people. What would you do for 2 years in a little hut away from people? So think about that. If you went out into the woods and built a little hut and lived there off of the lake, what would you do? What do you think life will be like? I personally think it would be really nice, but it may be a little bit lonely. So let's see. One of the things that Thoreau did was write a series of essays about his experiences, published in the Book of Walden or Life in the Woods. He also spent a night in jail for refusing to pay his voting taxes. Thoreau withheld the tax. Withheld means you didn't give it to them. Thoreau withheld the tax as a protest against slavery for the war with Mexico, which he did not support. He wrote Civil Disobedience to explain the reasons why he didn't support it. Under a government which imprisons any unjustified, he argued, the true place for a just man is only a prison. Thoreau, however, did more than just protest slavery by going to jail. Thoreau also helped runaway slaves and defended those who fought for the end of slavery. Thoreau's later years were spent outdoors, where he wrote about nature, like the scene shown in the photograph here, this photograph. He never made much money from his writing. When he died in 1862, many people in Concord considered him to be a failure. Thoreau may not have become rich, but he was a man who followed his beliefs. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, he wrote, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away. So if you ever heard the phrase, how does it go? To drum on a different path or beat to my own drum. It just means that you go along with how you feel. You don't worry about what other people feel. You have your goals and your beliefs, and you follow them the way that you want to. Today, people continue to be inspired by his writing and his actions. So David Thoreau was a cool guy. His whole thing was that he wanted to live a certain lifestyle that he believed and he thought was the right thing to do. Yes, it was a little simple, and yes, he didn't make a lot of money, but now we study him and try to get back to that state of mind where we worry less about materialistic things and more about the health of our mind and sticking up for those things that we really believe in. All right? All right, thank you for listening. Like I said, this is your lesson for today. And tomorrow we will be watching a video about Mark Twain. Okay? Have a good day, guys.